Welcome to the town of Saratoga. Sorry we're running a little late. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. All right. We have a gentleman joining us from the Port Edwards Public School District. They're having a referendum. Just to let everybody know, there is no one in the town of Saratoga that lives in the Port Edwards School District, but Jim has asked to speak today, and I have allowed him that opportunity. So go ahead, Jim.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. As you mentioned, I want to say thank you for having me here tonight. No one here does live in the Port Edwards School District, but Central Wisconsin, we're very closely connected, and some of you may have relatives, you may have good friends in the Port Edwards School District. So I want to spread the word about our upcoming referendum. So we have 2 questions on the April 2nd ballot. If anyone would like a flyer and you didn't get one, I can certainly give you one. The questions on our ballot, there's an operational referendum question. And the operational referendum question will have no tax impact. There is currently a operational referendum in place in the Port Edwards School District. That will sunset on June 30th, coming up here in about 3 months. This operational referendum would replace it. There would be 0 tax impact if the operational referendum is passed. Now, an operational referendum is in place for our day-to-day operations, okay? As costs have increased, anyone that runs a business, we all run our own households, we know the costs go up. Okay, transportation, salaries, benefits, as they have gone up, the state aid just has not kept up. Okay, and so to maintain a competitive school district in the area, quality programming, we are asking for 5 years, $850,000 per year to kind of fill in that gap that state aid for our schools has not provided for us. Okay, there are a number of things, I won't get into them tonight, I know we're crunched for time, but some caps were put in place in 1993. They were definitely put in place again in 2010 with Act 10, and our schools just are not getting the funding they need to maintain their quality programming. The second question is a $7.3 million capital referendum question. Sometimes we hear about school districts, they're looking to put up an athletic dome or artificial football field, and those are all great things if you're a really big school district. We are a tiny school district. We are looking for some basics with our capital referendum. Okay, just like we have houses, we have to replace our sewer lines. We have to replace our boilers. We have to replace our flooring. Okay, we're looking to replace part of our track. A lot of necessary things, again, that the state aid, we just don't have enough money to replace those things. They're all listed there. Like I said, cafeteria flooring, cafeteria tables, HVAC, controls for our HVAC. We have univents. We have a lot of things from the 1940s and 50s that are still heating our buildings. Okay, they don't make parts for those anymore. Okay, they're really hard to service. We're looking to update those things. We have an over 90-year-old high school and we have a 55-year-old elementary school. We have old buildings, they need to be updated. So those are our 2 referendum questions. I guess in a nutshell, are there any questions? Again, I want to thank you for your time this evening.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
All right, moving on. Reviewing the patrol truck bids. Do we have those? Okay, we got.
Set number 2, so that's one set.
You can open one. You can open one, and I'll open one. How's that?
That's third. That email goes along with that packet there.
That I have?
Yep. He said if there was any questions. I only received 3 different bids.
We have a bid from Truck Country, Interstate Truck Center, and
Ascendance, which used to be Midstate.
oh, another removal. Just to let everybody know, this is the first time we've seen them. We're opening the bid package tonight. We will review these. Each one of us will receive a copy of this. We'll review it, we'll meet and discuss what we have had questions on at our next meeting. It'll be a public forum. And then we'll decide which one we're gonna go with. Does that mean okay with everybody on the board?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Roger?
Yes.
Okay, so do we just want to read the totals and then
Yep.
we'll just
Yeah,
discuss
you go
them
ahead.
with them? Okay, so from Ascendants, we have a chassis price of $130,575 and a Monroe body quote of $157,560 for a total of $288,135.
What was the body? 157.
Body was $157,560.
Do you have just a chassis price?
Chassis is $130,575.
Okay, because that's all I have here. So from,
And if you look at the email, Lorelei, that's printed there, I
Yeah.
believe, in the email sitting right on the outside of your folder,
one,
here to your left.
oh, this one.
Yep, I believe he had put some notation in there about the chassis or the box.
I quoted a chassis I already have on order, so there's a good chance that there are items included in my bid that are not on your bid spec. So this is just for chassis. And this is from Interstate, and the total here is $135,921. Chassis only.
Okay, so we'd have to go out and find our own body on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Roger, what do you got?
Okay, so this is from Truck Country of Wausau. The first bid is for the Freightliner 114 SD Plus chassis. And that's for $134,182. Then it's got the body only below it for $157,560 for a total of $291,742. It says here the chassis may have to be paid for before truck body is installed to avoid interest charges. Price and availability and specs are subject to change.
Is this a single axle?
Yes.
Roger, is this a single axle? This is a single axle.
Yeah, should have been the bids
Oh.
that we,
That's what it
should have been the
was.
specs that we sent them.
Okay,
Here's the initial one.
all right. Well,
So then, there's another bid for a Phoenix. It's a Freightliner 114 chassis only, and that's $134,182. And then it has the body only for $165,535 for a total of $299,717.
Everybody signed a contract at $299.
Sorry.
No, just kidding.
So that's that package right there.
Okay, great.
Do we have any of the
Representative?
representatives here? Do you have anything you want to say?
There's,
I'm sorry.
there's another one here.
Well, there is one.
That was in a separate envelope. So this one is from Chuck Country of Wausau. It's a Western Star 47 chassis only price, $142,222. And then presumably the body for $157,560 for a total price of $299,782. And that,
Those are all from Chuck Country though, right?
right, and it references on both these Monroe truck equipment.
Okay.
Monroe Truck will put the body on all three of those things. They're just
Okay.
giving you three different options. They're giving you a Freightliner, a Western Star, and
So just 3 different trucks,
three
okay.
different chassis.
All right, so we'll get copies for each one of the board members to review, and then at the next meeting, we'll have an informed discussion. Thank you, Roger. All right,
We can't move forward on that today, we just,
no,
we gotta review it next week.
yeah. Now, next is review of quotes from town, for town insurance. Again, we have bids.
We have the one that I printed off for you, had you in your packet, and Michelle is here from the Horton Group, and she's our current carrier.
Okay,
I have copies. Which one did you print off? Ours or?
I did not have yours, so I have not
Okay.
seen it at all, but
Would you like me to hand it out?
that would be great, otherwise I can come grab it. Want me to come grab it?
I can come out.
and while she's handing those out, I'm gonna tell the board members that this decision has to be made by March 1st for insurance. And again, I don't want the audience to sit here while we're discussing all the ins and outs of this, so we'll each take it home, take a look at it, and then we'll meet at whatever your leisure is as a board next week in an open meeting to the public and discuss the insurance.
So there are two parts. You know, when we met last year, we talked about doing a bid specification so that all the bidders responded the same way for your protection. So we responded to the bid specification. And that's just like a summary of coverage. That would have been the same thing we went through last year, the summary when we updated everything.
Were we in on this?
No.
this would have been
So
before,
This is
Roger
the
would have been,
previous
and
board,
Josh
so-
would have been.
Roger and Josh know more than we
Yeah.
do at this point.
And you,
Yes. Thank you.
do we, how many do you want?
Um,
I'm fine.
You don't want mine, don't you?
I don't think
Okay,
so.
I think that's it.
Okay,
I'd like one.
Oh, I'm sorry, didn't you get one?
Yeah, I know, Josh and I did one.
Jesus Christ. Sorry.
well, I started with the board.
They're bored too.
Actually, you know what, I should take one, so I can put it with our email and stuff too.
Certainly, it's in there also.
Yep, great, thank
There you
you.
go. So any questions for me?
Not at this time.
Okay.
We haven't. So this bid specification, how did you arrive at this? Why ask?
So we talked about this last year in our renewal meeting. The board at the time wanted to go out for a bid this year. And we talked about writing a specification so that all the bidders would have all the information they needed to provide a bid that was at least equal to what you currently have.
Okay,
So, and we do this for your protection, because what we find is a lot of times we'll hear, the coverage is in there, and it's actually not in there the same way.
okay. Fair enough. We appreciate that.
Sure. And then I'm happy to come back next month, in case you have any questions in that meeting.
Okay.
Well,
It's not actually gonna be
March
next
1st is
month.
our
It's
renewal
gonna be
date,
next
so,
week.
Yeah.
Next week?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know what these guys' schedule is yet. They all
Okay.
work, I don't, so.
okay. Well, just give me a heads up,
Okay.
and we'll see if we can get it into the schedule, because we're happy to answer any questions.
Just want to confirm this last page has all the totals on it?
Yeah.
We'd be looking at, okay.
And if the other bidders provided this, you can turn to the same page and we all have completed it the same way.
one of the other bidders, was supposed to be here tonight, but they had a family emergency. So,
Understood.
all right,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. So are you guys, available anytime next week? To,
I think so.
Josh, you're good. Brian, do you have a time that works?
You go PTO?
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Chase?
I think just about any night next week. should
Okay,
work.
so you two are good, Roger?
Good night.
All right, so Brian is up to you.
How about Wednesday?
Is that good for you?
It should be.
Okay, Wednesday night, you want it 6 o'clock, you guys?
Sounds good.
Okay, Roger? Okay, 6 PM next Wednesday night, we're gonna meet.
And you might have some questions because there's a change in the cyber coverage.
Okay.
So
Okay,
you might need some answering.
sounds good, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Do we want to read off these totals, just so that they're out there?
Do you have them in front of you, Jason?
Yeah, it looks like Horton Group, right? Horton Group, the total, everything combined is $24,920. And if I'm adding up the two correct numbers here, which I think I am, the 6,196 and the 18,726, I come up with $24,922 for Rural Mutual. So those are within $2, so it's gonna come down to making sure everything's equivalent.
And, yeah,
Within $2?
yeah,
24,922 to 24,920.
we'll compare coverages and then we'll,
So it's, assuming everything's,
and realistically, I'm sure Paulette would, desire that we stay with the same company we have, so she doesn't have to change everything. However, let's take a look at the coverage and see which one is the best fit for Saratoga before we make a decision. Okey doke?
Okay.
All right, moving on. Updates since previous meeting, Constable.
Should have two reports in front of you, one for last month, and then the other one will be the yearly reports for last year, the citations issued. It was my slowest year since I've taken over by far, so lower number of complaints, lower number of citations.
That's good because we just got our bill from the Humane Society and it looked like you were really hard at work.
Well,
Oh, that's a rough one. I wish we had an alternative.
I think the cat thing really dinged us.
Yeah. Just for you guys out there, over 5,000 for 1 year for the Humane Society. Take care of the stray cats and dogs in Saratoga. Rough. Tried to think of something else we could do, but it doesn't seem to be, seems like we're kind of locked in. I do have another issue on the highway, Highway 73, where that dog bite was.
okay,
I had a call that she got bit again.
when was this?
I got the call probably 3 weeks ago. I
Okay.
wasn't here actually. But,
I dealt with them, I don't remember when they called me, she had gotten chased one time.
right,
That must have been a couple months ago, but they don't wanna be a victim. I even got a call from the son who kinda read me up and down that I wasn't doing nothing, but his mom don't wanna testify, she don't wanna make a complaint, nothing. So we have no victim, we have no crime.
okay. I'll mention that to her and,
Yeah,
I'll
if she's
follow
willing to
up.
make a statement and testify, if it were to go to court, I'll write a citation tomorrow.
can we do something about cleaning up that yard again though?
But yeah, I know this is an abnormal winter, Brian and I just talked about
Yeah.
another property today. Usually we wait until the snow's gone,
Snow's done.
Yeah, and then I write a letter tomorrow and we get dumped on with snow, so I've kind of been just watching the weather, but
Do you send it to the homeowner or to the property owner?
the property owner,
Perfect,
because the
Perfect.
property owner is ultimately responsible.
thank you. That would be
Yeah,
appreciated.
that property needs to be
Okay.
addressed too.
Yeah, that's,
I have a handful that are gonna be checked on here once I'm sure
Okay.
there's no more snow.
okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions? Brandon? I mean, questions relating to being a constable, Brian?
No.
All right, moving on. Building inspector. Hi, Josh.
Hi. Yeah, you should have a report there. Just 8 permits in the month of January. 2 of them were new homes and 1 an early start for a new home. So yeah, kind of a slow month, but projects that are already started are moving forward with the weather.
I'm missing his report.
That was not in your packet, it was sitting on top of your packet.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just- 2 more new houses.
Yep,
Great.
and 1 early start.
All right. That, I noticed, that is something the plan commission has to address. Now that we have our new zoning, in our new zoning, it's addressed how far away a building can be from the lot line and how large an outbuilding can be, which is 10% of the lot size. However, we have never addressed the height of the building. It remains at 20 feet. So if somebody's putting up a 50 by 100-foot building, they're still limited to 20 feet, and it's gonna be very difficult to get a peak in there, any kind of pitch. And by code, they have to have at least a 412 pitch. So we're gonna have to put that on the agenda.
You had me put that on the list.
Perfect,
And
perfect,
she mentioned that because it did come up right this week,
right.
where someone has a building that's, the square footage is approved, but that puts it 23 feet instead of 20 feet, you know. which-
23 at the wall or peak?
Peak.
Because I thought peak, I thought we had addressed that.
It's not addressed in the building code, and I didn't find it in the zoning, but if you remember addressing it, I looked at my notes
I
too,
know,
I couldn't
I
find
know the
it.
peak was discussed, because a 40 by 80 is gonna have a different than a 60 by 100.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's not in our zoning, so if I missed it, then I'll look through my notes again, but I couldn't find it.
I can look through zoning too, but it's on the agenda for the next.
Yes, it's on, it'll be on Dan's gonna be running the meeting for plan commission, so it'll be on there. The other thing is, Josh, I see you have an early start on here, and just for everybody in the audience, the early start is usually granted when somebody wants to do concrete work before their building permit is approved, and that's really unusual this time of year. Have you gotten more of those?
So this was, yeah, it was early this month, and it was, I think they just didn't have the res check yet.
Oh.
Something or the sanitary was, you know, the tests were done, it just wasn't recorded, you know, one of them things.
It's kinda nice to see people building in February. I'm
Yeah.
hoping that that'll help the contractors catch up a little bit.
Yeah, you know, this was for January, and for February, I already have 2 houses also, so,
Perfect,
yeah.
perfect. All right, sounds good, thank you, Josh. Anybody got questions for Josh? Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Josh.
All right. We're moving right along. See how fast we can go when we need to accomplish things? Zoning administrator, Rose, do you have anything you'd like to report?
Just, there's 2 residents, one of them has 30 acres, the other one has 40. They just sent an email about separating, like dividing them up, so that's out there. They have the applications to divide, and there's a person that's interested in starting a business in Saratoga, and that's it.
All right. Good enough. I know you got something to bring forward to the plan commission, right?
Yep, in March for
Yep.
Ranger Road.
Right. Okay. Road crew. Caston, you're up.
It's going good. Everybody's sending their love. Right away. It's going good. It's just that some people are in disagreement with the condition of the road work, right-of-way work, but it has to be done. There's really no easy way to go about cutting everybody's trees out of the roadway without getting some complaints. Some people had said they like it. It's easier to, nice, easy road to see down when you're at the other intersections, but you're gonna have people that don't like it. But otherwise, it's going good. We got a new rake for our tractor, landscaping rake, 7 foot. Helps collect all the smaller debris.
How's the cleanup going on that?
The what?
How's the cleanup going on that?
Good.
The aftermath.
It's going good. It's a lot of work, but it's going good.
Where, did you start on Kester, or did you start on Ranger cleaning up?
We chipped all the larger stuff on Kester, did a little bit of raking,
Okay,
but lately it's just been Ranger.
okay.
How long, with what's been done so far, how long do you think it'll take you guys to get that all kind of cleaned up and?
I don't know, another 3 weeks.
Okay, so it'll take quite a while.
Yeah, it's a lot. The excavator's much faster than us.
Is Wood County already done trimming?
No, he should be trimming at least, I think, 3 or 4 more days.
Oh,
Well,
3 days.
I'm kind of inclined, based on all the complaints we got, to kind of stop them at this point, just until we can get a handle on what they're doing. Because I tell you, I sat here today and we got so many complaints. I went to eat and got bid on. And I think everybody on this board has taken their share of disgruntled phone calls. And I went down, looked at them, and it does look like crap. So there's gotta be something that we can do that's not so destructive.
We could buy a boom mower for our tractor.
Do not they have, doesn't the
No.
county have another way of doing this?
I mean, they have a boom mower,
And,
and, the other options are slower. They have the flail head. As far as I know, I think that one had issues. It
I'm
might
kinda
look-
okay with it being slower if it doesn't turn out looking like it does.
I think at this point, we might need to pause just so you can catch up cleaning, quite frankly.
Mhm.
It's getting,
I would almost prefer he finishes that section of Ranger, or Church. He worked his way down on the south side of Church to 52nd, and he's working his way, or not, to the east on Church, on the south side to 52nd. Now he's on the north side of Church, working his way west towards 13.
how long do you think that'll take him to?
Tomorrow he should be done with that section of Church,
Okay,
between
so-
52nd and Highway 13.
Okay.
So if you'd rather have him stop, I would have him stop after that. Because
Based
then
on,
it's, at least it's in a section.
let me rephrase that. Do any of the board members feel that the way that I do, or am I just,
I just want him, I don't wanna stop them and then not come back.
Well, I
Right,
don't
this-
think we'll have opportunity before summer, before you really can't trim trees to have them come back if we stop them. So,
I guess,
there's other equipment they can use though, for crying out loud, I mean. It really looks bad.
So
It's
can
not
I ask
good.
a question? Should we have informed the residents of the town that this was going on? Not that it's gonna look any better, but then at least people know that it's coming.
we did inform them that they were gonna start trimming ditches. That was out there.
On,
About 12 hours before they started.
Was that it?
on Facebook, I believe,
Well, I
on the
still haven't
board.
seen it.
You haven't seen it yet?
Well, I seen Z going to work every day.
That's
I mean,
what,
they did
yeah, that was my first clue too.
is any of your questions could be addressed to Roland possibly?
Well, Roland has other people under him that are in charge of
Yeah,
this, and I
that'd be
did,
Brandon or Randy.
yeah, I did reach out to them today, but they definitely haven't called me back.
Dan, do you have a comment?
If it's any consolation, this is an ongoing thing.
Oh,
It was the same 10 years ago when we did it. You had the same mess. In fact, that we didn't clean anything up. It laid there at that time.
and you took the same flack as what we
Same
are.
flat, yes. People don't like, it looks ugly. You come next summer, you won't even see it.
And that's what Roland Hawks said, but that seems kind of lame to be telling the people that,
It,
Well, technically,
By the
they don't
fall, you
own the
won't
road
even
right
know.
away either.
Right.
I mean, it's
True.
not their, technically, it's not their land.
Now, that being said, though, I have seen a few spots where there's been large branches on top of, like, barbed wire fence and.
And that's getting removed. We're not leaving that stuff.
Right.
We're removing that and chipping it.
But there is some stuff getting on to pass the right of way.
We're adopting the camping ordinance? Okay, sorry.
Do you want me to get her?
No, that's good.
I guess the main complaint, I've got several complaints also, just like everybody else. The biggest, I guess the complaint that we should probably look at is, he said his driveway was blocked with branches, they couldn't get through. Is the county at least clearing driveways? I know you guys are the cleanup crew coming behind, but they can't be leaving like big limbs and stuff laying on people's driveways.
I didn't notice that. We do watch for that. When we come up through to scrape the road, I'm surprised we missed the driveway.
I was told, so it's like, well, that's emergency vehicles now, we're getting, you know, if people have to leave or even come home.
Well, we'll make
they
sure
don't
that
have
won't
it.
happen again, the driveway blocking. Because as he was dropping branches on driveways, we would clean that up before we even got to that with the chipper.
Okay.
We'd brush everything to the ditch.
Right.
So I wasn't aware of another driveway being blocked. Maybe
He was on the end, towards the end of Ranger Road is all I can tell you. I
wonder
wrote
if
down his address at home, I don't know what year ago.
I wonder if he called right away before we even got there.
It's possible.
Okay.
Well, I for one feel comforted in hearing Dan say that, you know, when they did this 10 years ago, that the people had the same concerns. But a lot of the phone calls we got were from people who lived in, or knew people who lived in Portage County, that said that there's other equipment that they can use where it makes a cleaner cut versus, you know, these wheels that are turning, just pulverizing everything in their wake. And I was hoping that that's what the county was going to use. And maybe in talking to the county, maybe we can get them to change that piece of equipment. Is that a possibility? I guess, Caston, I'm asking you because I know nothing.
I don't know much about what all the county has. I know they had that flail head that went on the excavator as well. As far as I know, that one didn't look a whole lot better.
Is that the
That's
one?
what they would have used 10 years ago, was the flail. It's a bunch of little flails that spin around and it breaks branches off, same thing.
Is that what they're using, these two?
No, now it's a mulch head.
I guess what
Two
I've
large
seen,
grinding barrels.
Yeah, that's what I see.
what
Yeah.
I've seen that really looks bad out there is the shredded, splintered
Yeah.
branches that are left on there.
Mhm.
I don't know if that flail head would leave quite them splintered the same way.
It might
You
not.
know, from what I've seen, those flail heads tend to chop it off a little cleaner. It still doesn't look good, I'll say that, but I think this looks worse than what I was expecting, you know, going into this.
So how does the board feel about notifying people before we do it? And how would we go about that if we were going to do that?
We definitely need to let people know way sooner than we did.
Well, if I remember correctly, didn't they just notify you the day before?
Well, yeah, it was supposed to be later in February, but it was kind of surprising. They
Yeah.
said, oh yeah, we can start the end of the week.
Well,
So-
regardless, we weren't going to physically send out a letter to these people.
Yeah.
I mean, we notified them by the sign, by the agenda item, by, you know, the minutes, all that.
Facebook.
By Facebook. Yeah, they were notified, but it was just so fast. I'm wondering is, we
I
set
think-
up a schedule, like we were talking about
Yes.
today, Caston.
Just snail mail it to everyone in Saratoga, do it once.
Yeah, along with our
The
tax.
schedule of this year,
Yeah.
these roads, this year, these
Oh, like
roads.
a list of,
Yeah, these are the roads that we are going to be
You
addressing
can do the
this year.
next 5 years if you wanted. Maybe we won't get to all of them, but you just say that, like, expect to have these roads done. within the these roads this year, these roads this year, these roads this year.
Yeah.
You could
yeah.
start with something like that, do a bunch at once.
yeah, I think that could be in
I
the
mean,
tax letter.
Yeah, because it costs money to send all that out.
Yeah,
so.
we can't send out snail mail because that would just be too expensive, and if we miss somebody, then, you know, that would be problematic. But what does the board think about putting a little ditty in the actual tax bill enclosure? That these are the roads that we see doing, in 2025.
I think that could be one of them. I think we should stick with Facebook and that too.
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause I'm
I
not
mean, a lot of
convinced they
those
read the
people
letters either.
open that letter, they
Well,
toss it, they never.
There's
do
so
it.
much information on that letter already. We're just gonna make the font smaller and put more words on it.
No, I'm gonna change how it looks.
You know,
And I'm hoping that maybe it'll get read now.
Maybe for that portion,
And-
put attention in red lettering.
We're actually sending out a fire newsletter. We could
Well,
put a reasoning behind
If we
it.
kinda get a multi-year schedule, we can put it in with that.
That was
Well, yes, but I mean, this year yet, with this grant, we're sending out a fire newsletter. That's something we could include in there, right, Roger? Because that was part of the grant. So that's another avenue that we can put it out there. I mean, since we're already doing it, we might as well put it out as much as we can.
Well, yeah.
Every single complaint I had was why. Why, I mean, it started out with, why are we doing this? And I said, well, we wanna keep the right of way clear, and I came up with all sorts of reasons why we should do it and why it needs to be done. But then their neighbor didn't get it done. So the branches are almost out to the road on one spot.
So the reason that is because he's avoiding yards. The mulch head sends chips flying. So
Yeah, I
if
know.
he
All
does it
over.
in front of a, so somebody has a row of trees in front of their house, and then it's yard and house right behind the trees, just one row with a yard and a house. When he mulches all the branches off, there's pieces that go flying through the trees. So he's avoiding everything with just a row of trees in front of it. Otherwise, their yard is filled with wood chips, you know, up to 4 inches in diameter.
Right.
We'd have to rake out everybody's yard, and that would be,
So your intention is to go back and manually do it, you and
yeah,
Tom?
yeah, with
Okay.
a pole saw.
And that'll probably be part of the fall that we had talked about, trimming,
Yeah.
is that's what you're thinking?
Okay.
Okay.
So what about the ditches that don't have yards? They're a fence line or something like that?
Those
The
get
res-
cut.
What's that?
Those get cut.
Okay, but the resident is mowing those regularly.
Yep.
Now, they
We're-
can't
we're-
anymore.
We're cleaning it up. Well,
Okay.
there's snow essentially on the ground. Not literally anymore, because it kind of melted, but
Right.
we're raking it up with our tractor and cleaning up all the smaller debris.
That was part of
It's getting cleaned up. It's just not all done at the same time.
Right.
With just us two out there doing it.
Now what they have currently done, if they finish church, you're thinking 3 weeks to get that all cleaned up between the two?
Yeah.
About? I'm thinking that's about all we can handle at the moment. If we have them do any more, that's gonna extend that out further. So I'm kind of in favor of
Stopping.
probably stopping where we're at and just finish the cleanup.
Josh?
Yeah, I don't think we need to upset anybody else.
We've met our grant responsibilities. Brian, how do you feel?
Now, I think we need to do more this fall. We need to get out and do it.
It's gotta get, I mean, it's,
But I think we need to look at what the options are for trimming.
did we just pay the county by the amount they've done?
Yeah.
Or have we paid for a certain amount already?
No, we told them to go up to 10,000, because that's what the board agreed to
Right.
at the last meeting. And they're up to, Casson thinks about 6, well, wherever they are. If we tell them to stop,
And then that's just where it would stop.
that's
They
just where
said
it's-
about 10 to 11 days to reach that 10,000 mark. So I
4?
believe he's got about 3 days remaining.
Oh.
Okay, so we're gonna end up right about the
We'll be
7 to
right
8
about
mark.
there then, so I'm fine with that then.
Roger,
I'd say let them continue.
you want them to finish?
Gotta get it done one time or another.
Yeah, but do we want to, I guess, what I'm hearing
I
from the other.
understand your point.
Well, my biggest concern at the moment is the time it's gonna take to get it cleaned up at right now. We're already out to 3 weeks. If they do another stretch of road, we could be looking at 5 weeks.
Well, realistically,
That's what knows.
the rest of church that needs to be done will be between 52nd and 80th. The last few days will just about get them to the end of church. I'd kind of rather have them finish church, or get as far as you can on church, till we reach that 10 grand. That's my opinion. I feel like let them go the last couple days.
So between
Finish the week
52nd and
out.
80th?
Yeah.
Church?
Because tomorrow he'll finish between 52nd and 13th. And then the next 2 days he'll be working between 52nd and 80th. He might not get done.
On the other side of the road then?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
so be kind of nice. Only got a couple days left.
Yes, sir.
Doesn't the town own a boom truck?
Yeah.
I
We
thought
do have a boom
I thought
truck,
we did.
Well, we have a
Bucket truck,
boom.
Yeah.
A bucket truck?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Couldn't you do the overhead limbing with that? Because the excavator only reaches so high, and that little 1-ton boom truck reaches the same height. Then you have one guy on the ground, guy in the boom, it drops. The guy on the ground throws in the chipper. It'll take a lot longer, but you're not spending 10 grand.
But what,
And then you have a month of cleanup right behind it.
The problem with that is our chipper is not big enough to handle a lot of those branches that are coming down. So we would actually have to rent out a chipper to supplement that.
So the stuff that's getting pulverized and out on the ground, how are we
It's-
chipping that?
Same with our chipper, but it's in smaller pieces because it's half ground up. And it's a lot less branches. So he takes a tree, he cuts 30 branches off of one tree. We end up chipping 4 branches out of that, and they're a lot smaller. So it is a lot quicker.
And you're loading up quite a bit in the trucks too, right? Besides? Or are
That's
you
what
chipping
the
everything?
larger things we will come back through with the truck and load up, because right now, raking it into piles with the tractor, and then we'll pick it up with the loader, just haul it away. But there's not a whole lot of large stuff, so that won't be too bad.
I want to chime in here too. If we did it ourselves, we'd have to hire more people. Because just the two, one person operating the equipment, one person throwing it in the chipper, that's great, but who's gonna control traffic? You know, we need that.
Safety and efficiency.
Yeah, I agree, Roger. So, is it gonna be more cost effective? I don't know. By the time we pay for all that, plus, I will have to say that, you know, a lot of this was given to us by a grant from the Central Wisconsin Fire Protection Agency, DNR. So, this grant in particular was a good grant for the town. It didn't involve money, it involved labor. So if we do this, they'll do this. If we do this, they'll do that. And this needed to be done, whether we like how it looks or don't like how it looks. Could it have been done with a different piece of equipment that doesn't make it look quite as bad? Possibly, I'm not sure about that.
I don't think so.
I don't know, but it does need to be done for a lot of reasons, and I mean, I know, you know, our job as a town is to maintain the roads and the right-of-way, to keep people safe. So we're keeping people safe from fire jumping, deer crossing the road, stays on car accidents, just the melting of snow on the roads to ensure better road quality. There's a lot of reasons, and I'm not the one to tell you all these reasons. I'm telling you that the DNR approached us and said, we're in a very high fire hazard area. We'll give you the money if you'll do this. And we said, well, what do we gotta do? Well, then it was, you know, labor to labor, and that's a good thing. So,
And we'll use that bucket truck for getting the more sensitive areas, which is still a lot of work. There's a lot of areas
but
that-
do I agree that
I
it
know it's
looks
a lot of work.
bad?
I did it at Portage County.
I
know
think
I'm
it
saying
looks
there's a lot
real
of
bad.
areas.
I really do, and I did drive out there and take a look, and, do I want this in front of my house? No, I wouldn't, but I also understand how nature works. In a few months, you're not even gonna know it's been done, but right now, the stumps look bad, there's tree limbs all over, you know, but our guys are out there doing their best, and there is only 2. So I hope that people realize that give it a while to have these guys clean it up, and then call. Unfortunately, they've been calling before they made it.
So Caston, you're thinking about 3 weeks right now with what they've got done. If they finished church, finished out the 10,000, how much more time do you think that would add to you to get that for cleanup?
Maybe another week.
So you're thinking that would only go out to 4 weeks? in total?
Yeah.
And you're thinking to get to that limit, church is all that they would end up doing?
Because church is, a lot less has been done on church than Ranger. Just because there's a lot of yards with trees overhanging the road that he can't use the excavator on.
Get out to past 52nd though, there's a lot fewer
Yes.
yards out that way.
A lot fewer yards, yes. More,
So-
more just wood ditch,
Right.
yeah.
Okay,
What area have you raked and picked up already? Like what area of the town is completely cleaned up in the town's opinion? Is Kester cleaned up yet? Or just the
That
portion-
one we still wanna go back with the rake and get the fines. The large stuff is all gone.
Yep.
But, far west on Ranger, right off of 13, there's little piles made with the rake. And then the south side of Ranger is mostly all picked up with large stuff. So we got the north side of Ranger yet, a small portion on the south side towards 52nd, cause that still had snow on it.
Yep.
So we kinda skipped over that a little bit, cause you're doing with frozen branches.
Right. Okay.
And so probably 50% of Ranger is mostly done. Cause the tractor raking doesn't take all that long, that portion.
So the majority of the residents that I talked to wanna know when it was gonna be cleaned up to the point where they could mow again, because right now, nobody's mowing the ditches anymore, ever.
are you cleaning it up enough for it to be mowed?
Yeah. The ditches that were mowed, we can tell which ditches are mowed regularly and
sure.
which ones aren't.
Sure, okay,
So, yeah, the ones
Fair
that aren't mowed regularly, there will still be a little bit of debris left. We're not gonna be real picky with those.
okay,
But the ones that are mowed, we'll clean those up very good, so you can get a mower out there.
Good.
that's
That's what I
great.
need to hear.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there any more discussion on anything?
I think we can leave them alone.
You wanna leave them alone?
Let's leave 'em.
Audra wants to leave them alone. How about you, Brian? Let them go, or,
Let them go.
I guess if it's only gonna add another week to clean up, that was my biggest concern. It's already gonna take quite a while, but 1 week added to that, that should mean even if we get a snow or two, you're thinking by the end of March, everything will get cleaned up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
okay,
All right, I guess my opinion, stick with it, and I don't think we can take any official action.
Right.
I mean, we could probably still shut it down, but I don't think, we can't make any motions or anything. It's not on the
Well, we should
agenda.
finish church.
Right.
No more.
Right.
No more roads.
Well,
Or,
what are you talking finish church? Are you talking finish the section of church they have done? Or allowing them to keep going out past 52nd?
Finish church means finish church.
Finish the
yes,
10 grand.
finish church.
Right, so I guess if for some reason there's still money left, don't let them go past, but
Yeah.
okay.
that
I think that's agreeable to everybody.
sound good to you, Roger?
I don't think there's gonna be any money left anyway.
Right.
No, there won't. They're gonna use every bit of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Plan commission,
Plan commission, we're working on, draft number 4 of the driveway ordinance. We'll review that at our next plan commission meeting. And, we have the camping ordinance, in its final stage, and it's up for possible adoption on agenda number 18 tonight. That's about all we got going on right now with that. There were some, actually, we didn't even discuss that, so. I think we got some CSMs coming up, but we got reviewed on that.
okay. CSMs are survey maps that people have divided up land and they have to go to plan commission to be okayed before they get a recommendation to come to the board. So they get a chance to review them before the board does. So hopefully they find something wrong with it, it's taken care of there.
Rob, Dan, did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so, outside of, possibly the storage buildings and some other buildings, but nothing.
That's coming up on our
as
agenda.
Of right now.
On our agenda,
Yeah, we're moving, people are gonna start building quick and fast here because of the unseasonably warm weather, I can see that.
And just as part of that too, at the moment, the county is not sure whether they're putting on seasonal weight limits. So that could affect our building too, along with that.
And that's the fact,
People could start a little earlier with that,
yeah.
if those do not end up going in.
Yeah, all right, moving on, clerk,
You should find a few operators licenses that will be going out tomorrow. Otherwise, just day to day.
Anybody got any questions? Paulette does a review of the operator's license. If she has any questions, she brings it to us. Is that it? Short and sweet. Treasurer?
Taxes is done. February settlement has been closed out. We did send full payment to the Lake District, so that is handled. The Village of Port Edwards for the boundary agreement, they have who paid, and then the balance will come at August settlement for them.
And we're all done with the boundary agreement.
We are.
Yoo-hoo! We're back to Saratoga, plain and simple.
And dog licenses are due by March 31st. Second installments of property taxes will go to Wood County by July 31st.
So those residents are now Port Edwards residents.
As of January 1st.
Do you know when our next audit
Tonight.
is gonna be coming up?
Tonight?
Oh, tonight?
Oh my gosh.
That's why we're rushing here, guys.
It's in black and white.
Informational announcements by board members. I'm gonna give a couple and then you guys can
Sure.
go on your own. Recycling events. I know everybody's really excited about this, so we have, for sure we know we have 2 coming up. The first one is going to be by our wonderful and most loved waste management company, and it's going to be for large items. So June 1st, you can bring large items to the town of Saratoga, and they will be loaded and put into dumpster. Now, these large items cannot be electronics. So it's couches, beds,
Mattresses.
They will have to load up, they themselves, the resident. Nobody is here to help them, or like Waste Management is not helping you load them.
Where are we having that? Are we having that here or?
it's behind, it's gonna be here.
Okay.
So June 1st and October 5th, and it was my understanding that Waste Management would be here.
They would have a representative here, but
Okay.
they're not
Yeah,
going to be
there will be
doing
some
the labor.
oversight here, so I just want that
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
Okay.
Instead of that, why don't you have them take some electronics here?
Oh, now wait, when I'm not done.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So we
That's
have a
coming.
recycling electronics event coming up. The first one is May 18th, only for the town of Saratoga residents. You will fill out online the time that you wish to come, and they're gonna,
What do you mean online?
wait a second. So you can either call here, or you can go online, and you can ask for a window. So a time to bring it in, and I'll tell you why. The reason is, we don't want to happen here in Saratoga what happened in Wisconsin Rapids. Because what happened is, half the people were not able to bring their stuff in because the lines were so long, and they had so many electronics, they couldn't supply and demand. So now this is gonna be just for you. This is gonna be just for Saratoga. So you either call us, and we will schedule it, or you can go online and fill in your own time slot. Now, your time slot, I don't know if it's gonna be an hour window or a 2-hour window. And you drive in, down the road, you come back behind the building, and you just drop your stuff off. There's no charge except for, what was it, extra large TVs, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember all that.
We'll work that out. We're not sure of quite of the details yet. But the 2 things that you cannot bring are batteries and kids' electronic vehicles. Those are the only 2 things you cannot bring. You can bring microwaves, you can bring TVs, you can bring vacuum cleaners, I don't care. So,
They're at no cost to the people bringing it.
Refrigerators and stuff you take at the dump out here.
well, you can do that too. Go for it.
Yeah.
But-
Why would you recycle that there?
I agree.
Timeline.
I would appreciate that. Then we can have more stuff brought in with other people. So we have 2 of those
What I'm
events.
looking for is computers and,
Bring them on in.
yeah.
May 18th and September 28th of this year.
me-
2 times. Doesn't cost you anything.
I'll try to remember that.
We'll put it on the sign. It'll be on the sign. It'll be on this TV. So, you know, if you don't wanna come.
That TV is worthless. One reason is, how many people don't have, you tell me, older people that can't come to the meeting. but you got that on YouTube. You gotta go, how many people got computers to get on to see that?
I don't know. But I don't know what else what would you like us to do?
Well, Rapids always used to have it on 3, something on a public channel.
They
Why
won't come
wasn't
in.
that put on that?
They won't come in here and do that.
Well,
Maybe Wisconsin Rapids pays them, but we ain't paying them. It's free here.
well, that's what I say, you ain't getting it to anybody. So what
Well,
good
we
is
have a
it?
lot of people watching it, but I guess, if you don't watch it, that's your opinion.
Well, I don't
so.
have a computer, why would I watch it? That's why I wanna haul it in to get rid of it, it's taking up room.
All right, you can do that. However, again, it's either you can watch it, you can see it on the sign. It will be posted at the Saratoga gas station. It will be posted right out here, and it will be
May 18th, you said, right?
yep, May 18th. We can put that in our newsletter too.
Well, we can, as much room as we have, we should put as much information out there for everyone.
We're gonna be sending out a fire newsletter, you'll be getting one, and that information, we'll try to fit it in there if we can, when our recycling events are. So you'll be getting it in the mail, okay?
That would be good.
All right, and again, with the garbage cans. So by now, everybody knows they're one size, and we're not the only community with these garbage cans. Wisconsin Rapids has them, Grand Rapids has them, we have them. The number that you're calling, this 800 number that's all over the garbage cans, we realize it's a real poor number, that you're getting somebody in Texas or somebody in California or somebody, whoever knows where. If you have a broken garbage can, or you have problems with your garbage can, you can call the town, but I am going to tell you that we only have one clerk. She works very hard. She is forwarding everything to Waste Management. Now, what they do with it once they receive the information, sometimes that's up for debate, but we know that our clerk is working very hard to take care of this. So please understand that we can't control the 800 number, and we don't have a number that is any closer to us. I just want to put that out there. The other thing I want to let the town know is there is a gentleman that has approached us, and he wants to bring extremely large trucks on a road loaded with dirt. He is going to be asking for a permit, and so that'll come to the board. They're gonna be hauling sand for fill. That's all I know at this time, but we will keep you posted, and it will come to the board.
Do you know what roads?
Church, that's the only one I know for sure, but I don't know what else. And, I think that's all that I have to say. Roger, I'm gonna let you go next.
I fielded some of the calls that the other board members did, along with Paulette, and talked to people, explained to them what's going on, so that they don't always have to call and ask you, Paulette, and talk to Cassie periodically about the work that they're doing and how things are going, and have conversation with the other board members when we need to conduct minimal conversation without being in a public meeting, so.
Perfect. Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, Roger. Jason?
Well, still fielding calls about the garbage cans and, a lot about the brush cutting. Beyond that, I did go and get certified for board review.
Thank you.
So that is done. And there was a lot of other information there about an ARIP program. Probably wouldn't qualify for on a lot of our roads, though there is some potential on if we want